In this video, we'd like to look at a Flask Python application that's going to use WT forms and specifically sets of radio buttons. So we're going to have the app, which is going to be mainly the Flask and handle all the routing. And then we're going to have a form, Five Guys. This is modeling a Five Guys. You're going to order some kind of a burger and maybe fries. So there is the Python file that is more about WTF and establishing the form. Then there's going to be an HTML page that is the form that the user interacts with and chooses the burger and the cooking level and fries or not. And then there is another HTML page, which I'm calling the handler, which is just showing the choices that the user made. And both forms use a layout and a style. And I usually work command line, and I've already done much of this. So there are different ways to run it within Visual Studio Code. I usually go with command line, and I usually work with PowerShell commands because I'm working in a PowerShell terminal. Okay, so all I really need to do at this stage, my virtual environment, I already established these two environment variables. So all I really need is Flask run. And then let's have a look. So I have some form, shrink it up a bit. So here is my form page. It's in a route called fg_form. And I'm going to, if I don't choose anything, I have some validation insisting that I have some kind of input. So it's going to yell at me, please select one of these options. So, and that's not my message, that is the browser's message. I think I want a cheeseburger, uh, medium well, and yes, I think I'd like fries. So there's my cheeseburger, medium well with fries, and I know that it's add it all up 1058. So I have some summing over probably in Jinja on this handler page. Okay, so we want to see how to make these radio buttons. Okay, so again, this first page is the routes. So we're just over here saying that we're going to get the form. I'm calling it FG form from this Python file. And I'm using Flask render template, allows me to get the HTML URL for, helps me with some of the finding pages. I think in one place I use that is to get the style sheet. I'm working with the form, so that's the request. And the redirect, I have a default route that I'm sending to the form, so that's the redirect. I have an app. I'm working with a form, so I'm going to do this secret key thing. Here's my default route being redirected to my FG_form route. Here's my FG_form route. Right now we're saying the methods are get or post, but I'm going to work with post. Here we are going and getting the FG form, which is defined on the Python file that is more about WTF. And the form, the route can lead to two possible HTML pages. So both route, there's a single route which may lead to two HTML pages. If the form has come back and is valid, then we're going to go to the handler, send it a title, send it a header, and send the results. And if it's not coming back to us valid, then if it's the first time or it was invalid, then we'll go to the form page and send it this form that we've set up, which is defined by WTF. So that is the routes. Let's have a look next at the forms file. We're using Flask form. There's radio fields and a submit field. So there's radio buttons. So that's the radio field, or not just the individual radio buttons, but sort of group of radio buttons. And then there's the submit field is the button. And I'm using a validator and just the simple input required validator. So here's my FG form. I'm extending the Flask form. I'm going to have three things. I'm going to have a burger. Well, sorry, four things. I'm going to have three of them are radio buttons. I'm going to have a burger, a level, and fries. And then I'm going to have this submit button. Radio buttons, radio buttons, radio buttons, button. Okay, so in a radio button, radio button serves a similar purpose to a drop-down select. It's different visually for the user. In radio buttons, the user sees all of the options. In a drop-down select, one only sees the current choice. So it depends on how much real estate you have and just sort of usability ideas of, do you want them to see all the choices or not? Okay. So I'm just assuming that you wanted radio buttons. Here you go. So it's a RadioField. This is the label. And the first one, I'm not going to style. I have a style called the no bullet style. So these are going to be rendered. I don't control how they're rendered. They're rendered by WT forms. They are going to be rendered by an unordered list, and an unordered list come naturally with bullet points. And so I get the radio button and then these little bullet points, and I didn't like them. So the first time I just let it do what it wanted to do, and then the second time I styled it. So I had this no bullet style that I wrote, which just says I don't want the bullet, and I show two different ways of getting it. So the first one has the style, so it just says RadioField. Here's the label. Here are the choices. The choices, as they were in the select, are a list of tuples, and I have the name under the first item in the tuple is I'm going to split this apart when I get over to the handler, but behind the scenes, I'm going to have the name, hamburger, and then the price. And then the second item in the tuple is just what the user sees, and that will be hamburger. Same thing down. And then there was a validator that says the input is required. I gave a message, but again, we never saw those messages because the browser was handling its own messages. Here is the set of radio buttons for the level of cooking. And I'm going to put the style there sort of in Jinja. And the choices, rare, medium, and again, I'm saying it's required. And then the fries was a RadioField with a label, choices, validator that it's required. And here I included a render underscore KW, and that is doing my no bullets class. So let's have a peek at over here in static under simple. Here is my unordered list dot for class, no underscore bullets, and it's list style type none. So if I apply that class, it gets rid of these radio buttons. This down here is the styling to make the checked radio button look a little bit different. So we see that here, the checked radio button has a different style. Okay. So we looked at the forms. And again, the last one, I'm giving it the no underscore bullet style using the render KW. The second set of radio buttons, I'm going to give it the style a different way over in Jinja. Here's my submit button. Okay, so now let's look at the HTML in the templates. So here's the Five Guys form. I have my token that works with my secret key. Then here's the burger label. I have the class to display the error, but again, I'm not, the browser's sort of taking over and can handle everything. So I never see my own error. I just see their error. Here's the label for the burger. Here's the form for the burger. I didn't apply my class. And so we see the buttons. Let's have a quick peek. Inspect. I didn't want to do inspect, sorry. I wanted to do view page source. So here's my label for the burger. Here is the span for the error message that we never see. And here is, this again is WT Forms choice that they make this list of radio buttons in an unordered list. So here's the UL, here's the list item, there's an input, its name is burger, it's required, and so that's giving us the error message if none of them are chosen. It's of type radio, here's the value, and then after the radio button, here's the label showing us the second part of the tuple, which is what the user sees, and then the end of the list item, and then the next list item, which was the cheeseburger. The only difference down here for cook level, other than the difference in the choices, is that it has the unordered list has the class of no bullets, as does the fries. So they are the ones without the bullets. Okay, so that was the burger. Here is the cooking level, and here is us getting the set of radio buttons, and here's applying the no bullets class. So form.level parentheses class underscore equal quotes no underscore bullets. So that's one way to apply the style. The other way we saw to apply the style was in this render underscore KW, and then you give it this sort of dictionary, and in the dictionary you say the class gets no bullets. Okay, so but here, this is the level, so here's a different way to apply the class. And here's the fries, and I could just say form.fries here because I applied the class in a different way. And here's the submit button. Then on the handler, we have a place to put the title, we have a place to put the header. They were sent over by the original Python. Come on. Can't get it to go. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. The title, the header, the content. What I get over on the burger had a name of the burger and price. So I have taken what came over and split it. Again, I showed in a previous video that you can split in the part in the Python that is handling the routing. But here I'm doing the splitting in Jinja. So I took the burger result, which had two parts. I split it on the vertical bar. That gave me an item and the price. Then I cast the price as a float. And I'm saying, here's the item I want, and here's the price I want. And then I go to the cook level, and I just display it. And then I am taking the fries, and the fries, if they said no, was 0. If they said yes, it was 369. So that is also split. So I'm taking the fries and splitting it on the vertical bar. That's the name, fries or no fries, and the price. And I'm casting the price as a float. I'm adding price 1 and price 2 and getting the total. So I'm adding up the burger cost and the fries cost. And the fries cost might be 0 if they chose no fries. And then if the item, which was the choosing of the fries, is yes, then I'm going to say and fries, and then display the total. But if I don't choose fries, then I won't do that. So let's go back and say no fries, and then it just says the cheeseburger. But there's more. If I say I want fries, then I say here's the addition of fries, and then here's the total of the burger and the fries. Okay. So that is that game. I think I showed you everything I wanted to show you. I showed you the style. I showed you the HTMLs. I showed you the 2 Pythons. That's what I wanted to show you. Radio buttons and WT forms and Python and Flask. Thanks for your attention.